Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of Formula FG, the Australian Grand Prix. We're on board here with Andy Graham. He's moved back into second place as a result of Dovizioso pitting. He's still a long way behind Chaco though, but it doesn't seem to be a massive problem, as we believe Chaco will have to pit again. Meanwhile, Tom Barrett's ended up pitting as well for his first. The end of his first stint, he's ended up a long way back, so I guess he took the risk and it didn't seem to pay off fantastically well for him. There's Rinho here, driving a nice race. He's up 8 spots so far. In fact, for DTK, you wouldn't have thought that at the start of the day. Well, I definitely didn't. But he's put in a decent drive so far, made the most of it. And it's so far so good for a lot of these teams and drivers. There's Sigalakis here, he's going to have a look at Rautavaara. What I believe is correct, then Sigalakis is going to want to get on with it, as he's going to be pitting again. Rautavaara seems to be going through to the end. Chaco, meanwhile, he's got, I think that might be Herbert. Yes, indeed it is. Herbert forced to let the leader of the race through, understandably. Here is Omar Saeed. We haven't seen much of him, but he's done well so far. He's currently in 4th place for Cedars. Here's Sigalakis. He's still having a look at Rautavaara. Burner 2 will be wanting to get past, as they're both going to have to pit again. Sigalakis can't find a way past. Defending from Burner into the 3rd corner. It's not quite where Sigalakis or his team would have expected to be today. P7 isn't too bad, but they would have expected better. Back towards the front, we're here with Dovizioso. It's 5.8 seconds behind Andy Graham. Pitted a few laps later. Little mistake there from Harvey, it's not going to help him. It's a long way behind. He's got Engbrink just behind him. And Barrett ahead. There you go, he lost quite a bit that last sector. Able to see the skyline of Melbourne as we go towards this end of the circuit. Here with Graham, he's losing just a little bit of time to Dovizioso every sector. It's not a massive problem though. We'll be losing a bit more time to Chaco in every sector. It's now at 20 seconds. Some people may be saying, well, that's a very long time. I believe it's around about 40 seconds down the pit lane. Chaco really wants to be getting towards 30 seconds in front by the time he pits. 10 seconds on a low fuel tank and fresh tyres. In this car and the new Falcon, he might be able to make it. Another 3/10 there for Chaco. By no means is this race over. He may have a large lead now, but if he does have to pit again, there's not going to be much of a lead left. Well, there's probably going to be a negative lead. He'll probably be in second place. So he's got to continue. Small problem there, we'll move on. Andy Graham, it's only 4.3 now to Dovizioso. So in possibly looking at one of these drivers could win the race. It's becoming very serious now as to who's going to be in the lead to be able to do that. Saeed, meanwhile, you mustn't discount him. Utsa, on the other hand, well, you pretty much can. Meanwhile, Sigalakis and Burness still have not got past Rautavaara. They would have wanted to get past both Rautavaara and Utsa, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Rinyaho and Black, they seem to be fine, and Bailey. Deal, not so much. Hunsley, definitely not. So it's definitely getting interesting in terms of fuel. Who will make the finish? One man that we think won't is this man, Laszlo Chaco. Dovizioso, you can see Graham a little bit more every single lap. Must be egging him on now to be able to catch his teammate. Meanwhile, it's 23 seconds now between Chaco and Graham. 3.4 Graham to Dovizioso. So far quite lucky, we've still only had 2 retirements. At lap 39, we're starting to get to the point where about 2/3 of the way through the race. This, if we look at past FFG races, this is when it starts to become a little bit more chaotic. This is when the cars start to realise that they can't make an 100% race distance race. We're yet to see who will still make the finish. Meanwhile, Graham loses another 3/10 there to Dovizioso. We don't know. We've lost how far Chaco is ahead now. Meanwhile, here's Rautavaara still holding P6. Still ahead of Sigalakis and Burner, no doubt. Defensive up the inside there, he's able to keep the position. Graham here behind, he's 24 seconds now behind Chaco. Still no way past for Sigalakis. Seems to be a little bit closer. Burner's there as well. We'll go back to Dovizioso. Nothing changes, it seems. Andy Graham here. His little lead over his teammates down to 2.4 seconds now. Chaco there goes past Jamie Cox in his first race. Dovizioso down to 2.1 now behind his teammate. No matter what happens, whoever is behind the other means that they'll have to try to stop Chaco, no doubt, when he pits. So it's definitely all on the table for these two. They're both fighting Chaco, but they're both fighting themselves. Here is Andy Graham. First simulated career race of any kind. He tried to get into the GPTCC, he wasn't able to. He's here in FFG instead. Here's Sigalakis, he's going to have a look down the inside. Still, I don't think he's going to get it. Graham, he's got himself quite an experienced teammate in Dovizioso. Dovizioso, he's been in quite a few of the simulated careers. He knows what he's doing, and he's catching his rookie teammate. About a second a lap or so. Meanwhile, at the same time, they seem to be pulling away from Omar Saeed with relative ease. Chaco, meanwhile, is 25 seconds ahead. This is the sort of time, if you're him, that it's okay to start looking at a pit. Should be able to get them. Of course, the further you can go, the lighter you can get the car. Rautavaara is still holding back Sigalakis. Sigalakis, he's got to be careful. If he's not careful, it's Burner that's going to end up going past. Oh, he's very close this time. Pulled up nicely. Still can't make it. Ratavara defends well. And now this is very interesting. That seems to be rain again. So now those who pit, are they going to be at an advantage? Could be a few seconds per lap as we see Rinyaho having a look here at Burner. And he would not have been expecting that, the Dutchman. Let's release Sigalakis a little bit. Rinyaho, though, he's already dropped himself a lot of time. Sigalakis seems to be okay. Burner moves back past. You can barely see Sigalakis now. So it's a massive problem there for Burner. Fighting well with Sigalakis and Rautavaara. Now, just about 2 seconds behind. As the rain starts to come down. How wet will we see this track? And what does that mean for everyone? Dovizioso now, he's down to less than a second. If these cars had DRS, that'd be very interesting, but it has started raining, so he probably wouldn't get it. Oh no. And now what has happened here? We'll go back a little bit. Try to find where it is. This is as far back as we can go. It's an engine problem even back. All the way back to here. So Chaco in the lead of the race. Starting to get to the point where he can think about pitting. Here comes Cox, he's going to come through. Going to be held up a little bit. That's a very thick smoke now. They'll both move by. Massive plume of smoke coming from the back of Chaco's car. And there goes the engine. Completely kaput. "15 laps, who knows? He may have been able to win it." So here comes Andy Graham and Dovizioso. It's no longer a point of who's going to be in the lead and who's going to be in second, trying to hold back a flying Chaco. It's now who's going for the win. Full stop. The two Vipers lead 1-2 at the Australian Grand Prix, lap 45 of 58. Saeed now moves up into third. Utz is going to get fourth. They're all going to be moving up a spot. Bailey will end up in 10th, with a chance for a point at his first Australian Grand Prix. Stricken car of Chaco, and that's the end of the day for Falcon. So close, both cars running fantastically. Sharp left the building very, very early. And now Chaco very close to the end, unable to hold it. Here's McNamara, he's still there with Huntley and Deal. They're now going to be getting ready for a little scrap over the minor points paying places. Points paying places. Seems to be quite normal for the rest of the places though. Graham and Dovizioso, though, the two teammates, they're getting really close. We've seen teammates hit each other here before. Could have easily ruined the season, of course it didn't. But you just never know. As you can see, down at the end of the straight, they're still very close, but not making any moves. As Engbrink tries a move on Daniel Harvey. Probably not going to try too hard down the inside there, as we all know what happened last time when those two. Here's Graham still leading. Hunsley, it's getting extremely wet now. You have to think some of them will be looking to pit ASAP. With 13 laps, if you're one of these cars back here, pitting now is a good idea. It means that you can probably find some speed over the others. Hunsley's in a good position. He's going to have to pit anyway. So he's going to go for the wet tyres, you'd think. McNamara, though, having a look up the inside. Nothing doing there for the Australian. Graham still holding back to Dovizioso. How much longer though for? The Italian looks to the inside, brakes late, and he's into the lead. Dovizioso now leads the Australian Grand Prix for Viper. Saeed, he's only got 4.5 seconds. Can he do something? Graham, though, he's lost quite a bit of time to his teammate. Crawling through there. Have a look at the sector split in a moment. It's not going to be pretty. Yep, 3 seconds over his best time. Saeed's catching a lot now. It's 3.2 seconds. Is he possibly already on a wet set of tyres? Perhaps he's just...
Pit this lap, pit this lap.
Nope, he's in this lap. This must be a snap call here for the Cedars team. In he will come. Graham and Dovizioso. So they held a little bit of time over Saeed. It's probably going to be a long time for him. Don't think he'll be making up for 40 plus seconds, but who knows? Utsa seems to be having to go another lap. Sigalakis is straight in. Out will come Saeed now. Ratavara moves past. Seven seconds slower than his fastest time, Vandy Black. That's not what you want to be seeing. But now Sigalakis and Burner, they've both had to go in. They both had to get tyres and, well, they both had to get fuel to the finish. They've now got tyres as well. Harvey comes by. Hunsley's been in the pits. So is Deal. Barrett's in as well. So is Engbrink. Herbert's there. Dovizioso and Graham, they both decide not to go in. They'll be trying the same thing as they did last time. That could work. We've got 10 laps. Utz is a long way down, but Saeed might be able to do something. With 10 laps to go now. We've only lost 3 cars. McNamara will be pitting. Lintner won't be. Sigalakis here. Be very interesting to see in the last few laps who can make up the time. Dovizioso 2.5 seconds slower through the first sector. Barrett getting shown the blue flags. He's getting told to get out the way. Utz ahead, 24 seconds behind. Rautavaara's close. Saeed is monstering it so far, I think. Rinyaho and Black did not pit. Bailey did not pit. Lintner, don't know where he's come from, did not pit. Sigalakis, currently in 10th place, did pit. Not to mention Berner, right behind him, did pit as well. That's how it stands. Graham, a 1 minute 40 there. Utz is going to come round. It's not going to be pretty for the German. He does a 139. Rautavaara 138. Saeed with a 136. Game on in Melbourne. Rinyaho 138. Black 138. Bailey 138 as well. Well, 138.9. Lintner still coming across with 138 as well. Look back to Sigalakis. What can he manage on the different tyre? 136. It's the same for Berner. For sure, the game is definitely on as McNamara there ahead of Huntley with Deal. There's Cox, Engbrink, and we find ourselves our leader. Dovizioso, he's driving away from his teammate. I think he is quite close to being safe. There'll be 8 laps to go at the end of this. Now this is interesting. Graham hasn't pitted. I think Herbert has. There is a lap difference between them, though. Here's Utsa. Oh, here's Saeed. He's just got so much speed. He's got to find the way past these two now. If he can do it, he might be able to snatch a 3rd place. Well, he should be able to if he gets past both of them, because he will be in 3rd. But if he can get past both of them, he might be able to snatch 2nd, in fact. .138's there. 137 for Lintner. 136 still from Sigalakis. Berner doing just under that. Just a 135.98. McNamara leading group of them. He's found himself into 12th, so he's gone past Harvey in the meantime. Yep, Harvey done 139. McNamara, no mercy, with a 136. Here's Saeed, he still can't find a way past. The longer that Rautavaara is holding him up, the longer and the harder it'll be to catch either of the Vipers. You'd have to say at this point, it's almost game up for the Turkish driver. You'd have to say it is game up. 25.1 seconds. He's got only 7 laps to find it. That's from Utsa. Saeed there loses a lot of time. I think that's Herbert unlapping himself. Barrett will be looking to unlap himself as well. Got to be careful. He doesn't want to hit the leader of the race here. That's not a very good look. Of course, if you're the leader of the race, someone wants to unlap themselves, it's usually a pretty good idea to let them unlap themselves. And just let them go. As here's Saeed and Rautavaara, a little bit of a nudge there. Rautavaara, he's going to have a trip through the gravel trap. And he'll pop out back on track ahead of his countryman Rinyaho. So far it's only 1 position lost. Saeed, meanwhile, now he's got to find the speed to catch Utsa. Dovizioso, meanwhile. End of this lap, it'll be 5 laps to go. Back here with Utsa, he's got 2.1 seconds on Saeed. Now it's 1 second. Saeed finding the time. It's getting close between the both of them. You'd tip Saeed would have to go close. Not much time gained in the last sector. It's not where the dampness is though. The dampness is definitely around this end of the track, it would seem. There's the plume. There's more of it. This is where Saeed will find his speed. .7 here. Oh, and catching up a lot now. Will he have a look to the inside? He will, and another nudge. And that's another car. Gets to have a trip through the gravel trap. Courtesy of Omar Saeed. He'll move up into third though. Rautavara can have another go with Utsa instead. Teammates in the GPTCC. They'll be fighting tooth and nail towards the end of this race, as it is really compressed the pack. Here we go, we got P4 to P8 I believe in Matt Bailey. Behind we find Lintner. He's under a lot of pressure here. Sigulakis and Burner will both be looking for him. Both the 2K1 and the NTEC should be able to get the job done, but they've just got to find the right time and the right place, it would seem. Rautavara there defending from Rinyaho. Deal gets past Harvey, we can see at the bottom of our screen. Though seems to be driving away now from the rest of those guys. As Bailey, he wants a piece of black. First home race that he's taken part in, Matt Bailey. He's not content with 8th, he wants more than that. Here's Lintner. Is Sigulakis going to have a dive down the inside? He will, and he'll get it done. So that'll leave the door open for Burner. Quite possibly. Thinks better of it, does the Dutchman. Sigulakis now up into 9th, and he's got some speed on him. He might be able to carve through the guys ahead. There's still 3 laps left for them. Barrett has ended up unlapping himself, and Herbert looks like he wants to as well. And Dovizioso, he has to be careful, of course. Doesn't want to risk anything with someone trying to unlap themselves. As Sigulakis is just left. It's just left Lintner for dead. Burner would surely have to be having a look at some point this lap. Possibly here. Oh, and a very nice move there from Stefan Burner. And he'll move Lintner back a spot into 11th. And McNamara's not too far away either. Might be just a little bit too far. Sigulakis is right on the back of Bailey already. So Bailey's gone from pushing for 7th place. He's now going to have to defend for his 8th. Utsa seems to have found enough speed at the right time to pull away there. Saeed, he's made a little bit of ingrounds into Graham. It's just way too late for him. As we'll have a look behind here, and it's Sigulakis. That Cosworth engine just pulling him past Bailey. There's nothing much you can do if you're Matt Bailey. And there's still 2 laps to go for Sigulakis. He might find himself very quickly onto the back of that speedy. You'd have to he wouldn't be forcing a smile if he was able to make the overtake. As Burner very quickly was having a look at Bailey as well. McNamara has gone from 7 seconds 2 sectors ago to 2.7 behind Lindner, so he might still get 11th place. Well, as I say that, there seems to be a problem for him. I think it's another puncture.
Try and get back.
And that'll be McNamara. That'll be McNamara's day over. That leaves Lindner off the hook in 11th, as Sigalakis is already onto the back of Black. It's 2KF1 and Speedy. Sigalakis taken away from Speedy at the end of last season, and Black brought in to replace him. Funny how the world works, because Black moved from Viper, and guess who's in first and second right now? Ratavar and Rinyaho seem to have worked it all out. Black very slow through the second to last corner. Here comes Sigalakis. Another case that Cosworth engine is not going to lose to a Bugatti anytime soon. Here comes Burner as well. Looks to the inside. Very defensive is Andy Black. Not defensive enough it seems, and Burner follows Sigalakis through. As we say that, we'll go and find ourselves Andrea Dovizioso. He's on the last lap. He's got 7.7 seconds to his teammate. This is a fantastic effort from a team that struggled so much last season. They should have done so well after their win in the second round, but they just never got it going. But instead, they're going to win the first round this year. And not only that, they're going to get a 1-2. Fantastic day for Viper. And it's this man here, Andrea Dovizioso, that will take the checkered flag here in Australia. Fantastic effort. His teammate here, Andy Graham, for so long looked like it'd be a perfect debut. Almost is. He'll take second place. Nearly the best debut since last season at the first race, which was Keranen. Nonetheless, Saeed, he had to be very forceful with a couple of guys in the back end of the race, but he gets what he wanted. He gets his third place. As Utsa, he's all of a sudden come under a lot of pressure from Rautavaara. Rinyaho came under a lot of pressure from Sigalakis as well, but they should all hold position, I would think. Utsa will be fine. Rautavaara will be fine. Rinyaho will be fine. Sigalakis and Burner, very late for both of them, but close. Black will take 2 points. Lindner will get 1. What's happened to Bailey there? We'll try to have a look, actually. Not quite sure. He's just found himself down in 11th all of a sudden. Deal, 12th place, bad luck. Hunsley, 13th. Harvey and Engbrink, the front row pairing. Has the Bugatti engine got enough pull? Not quite. Jamie Cox here in 16th in his debut for Entech. Not fantastic. Here's Ben Herbert. He's found himself ahead of Barrett, so he's not done too badly in that situation. There you have Tom Barrett will be the last one across the line. And so then, confirming the race results, Andrea Dovizioso wins by 8.1 seconds from his teammate Andy Graham. Viper take their first 1-2 finish. It's a fantastic effort by them. They're going to be leading both championships quite easily, obviously. Omar Saeed for Cedars. Good start for them. He's able to take third. What could have been? His teammate Martins early in the race retired. Utsa in 4th, not very far ahead of Rautavaara for Apex in 5th. Then we have Rinyaho and Sigalakis and Burner, all within, well, it's about a half a second between all of them. And only 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds between Utsa and Burner. Fantastic effort, a really good finish from those guys, as we have Andy Black and Christian Lindner rounding out the top 10 and rounding out the points. Behind that, we look at Matt Bailey, and we don't know what's happened to him, but he was running okay, and he's ended up in 11th in his home race, so he's lost a lot of speed at the wrong time during the race, that's for sure. Pablo Deal and Jack Hunsley, our two championship rivals from last season, find themselves in 12th and 13th. While some would argue Pablo must be feeling happy that he's ahead of Hunsley, it's not really what you want, because you're not playing for points there, boys. Bad luck. Harvey and Engberink started on the front row, you know, and they were pretty much inseparable at the end. They're inseparable at the start line, they're inseparable at the third turn, and they're inseparable almost at the finish line. Jamie Cox finished off his debut for NTEC in 16th, just ahead of Ben Herbert in the second RD car, who was, well, just a little bit more than just. Ben Herbert in 17th, and then Tom Barrett, the final finisher, in 18th place. And we look back and we see McNamara classified 2 laps down. I believe it was a puncture. Chaco, well, you know, there's very few situations when you can say someone was robbed of a result, but that was one. He was absolutely gunning it. And if it was his teammate, of course, retired early on as well. Both Falcons retired, and you have to say they should have had something there today. What is Vipers could have been Falcons. And lastly, Rui Martins for Cedars. His debut did not go according to plan at all early on in the race, ending up in the gravel trap with his third wheel missing in action somewhere. Quickly have a look at the fastest laps of the race for the drivers. Unsurprisingly, Lachlo Chaco, fantastic effort from Falcon. It was Lindner as well, as another Hungarian. In the Virgin, second, close, quite close, and Jamie Cox on his debut didn't do too badly either. Martins did not finish a lap, unfortunately for him. Have a look at the lap chart quickly. See Harvey and Engbrink. Bad luck for the both of them. Looking through the field to see where they all came from. It was Dovizioso. He started 10th. He was a long way back, but he worked up nicely through the first lap, and nicely again. The team definitely got the strategy calls right throughout the day, and he was able to overhaul his teammate, take a very easy win in the end. Saeed, he was up and down, 3 stops. Had to do it the hard way, but he was able to do so. You look at the next guys. This is where it got interesting. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Utsa, you know, you'd think he had it easy. Not quite. You know, he started up there. He had to fight for it. Look down. Rinyaho and Sigalakis, they've come from a long way behind. Rautavaara and Burner. Well, Rautavaara, he's done extremely well. Burner, I have to say, it's disappointing that in the NTEC he's only moved up 1 position. And we'll look back. See 9th, 10th, and 11th. Matt Bailey having a very good race, but he fell back and he was fighting for the points. He got back into points paying position. But in the end, Lindner, who came from every which way on the grid, he was there and then he went to the back, fought his way back up. He was in the points, he was out of the points, and he was back into the points again. And Andy Black, he too started a long way back and he fought up. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Australian Formula FG Grand Prix. You know, you can't deny it's done very well. 2 seasons and 2 fantastic races, 2 very amazing results, I think. Both of them. So it's a fantastic day for Viper. Cedars will celebrate as well. No doubt anyone that made the points will be quite happy. But no, the day goes to Viper. Congratulations to both of them, to Andrea Dovizioso, to Andy Graham, also Stephen Poirier, no doubt he'll be extremely happy with this result. But otherwise, that's it here from Albert Park in Australia. I've been Aidan Keranen. Thank you everybody, and good night.